And we'll see how the second half unfolds here. Jason Hanson has demonstrated a leg, and on the last time the Packers gambled and brought it out of the end zone and came up 5 yards short of the 20.
Brent, Robert Brooks normally returns kickoffs for him, but he's not. He's just doing the punts. He's the #1 kickoff returner in the NFL, and they can't use him today because he's a little bit banged up, and they want to use him as a punt returner and a wide receiver.
Drills this one low on the bounce. Goes on in, out of the end zone. It'll come out on the 20-yard line. But Corey Harris was thinking about it, wasn't he? So we get ready now with Eric Kramer, who will be watching the defense out on the field, and Brett Favre will go back to work offensively for the Packers. And Dick, what's your feeling now about the Packers attack?
Well, you know, they came in here and they wanted to run the ball a little bit more. I think maybe they will lose a little patience with that approach, and they will probably a little more aggressive with their passing game.
Rolling to the right off the fake to Bennett. Now he's got Bennett, and he overthrew him. Had him open on that side and matched against Pat Swilling, and he couldn't hit him.
Detroit dominated the first half, 206 yards of total offense to 130. Also dominated time of possession by over 3 minutes. Doing a good job running the ball and passing the ball. 92 yards rushing to 64. Plays pretty even. 26 to 27. First downs 9 to 11. Give the edge to Detroit. Very even ball game though.
Second down and 10 from the Packers 20. The hand to Thompson. Thompson battling for 8 to 9 yards with Dennis Gibson hanging on.
Good job by Harry Galbraith, the offensive right guard. Frankie Winters inside the center, and Doug Waddell, number 74, the left guard, did a good job of maintaining contact. Didn't knock anybody off the ball, but they kept in control. This is Scroggins here. It was hurt early in the ball game with that thigh bruise. They got a lot of ice up there.
Third down. It's Thompson over the top for the first down.
Boy, he's a big, strong guy at 217 pounds. See, he got up in the air. Linebacker hit him good, but he had enough momentum to get that first down. He is much more aggressive football player than I have seen him in the past. He must have developed a little more confidence, and I think good coaching by Gil Haskell, the running back coach. Now watch him take it up in the air. He knows it's plugged up. Big, long body. He gets it up there. And the first down. He uses his own people to step on.
Mark Clayton to the right. Sharp to the left. First down, Packers. Off a play fake. Favre, incomplete. Running back Thompson was well covered that time by Dennis Gibson.
He was covered well enough to give up on the pattern. He started jogging at the very end of it. Should never do that. You never know if the quarterback's going to come to you. Dennis Gibson, as you said, right on him like a blanket.
Favre at 50% today. 6 of 12, 66 yards, and the 1 touchdown to Sharp. He burned a couple of timeouts early in the first half. Second and 10. One running back in a double tight end formation on a short drop. Throws, has one on, and Sharp can't bring it down that time.
Got to make that catch.
McNeil, the rookie, on the corner this time.
Ryan McNeil was on him, but I really don't believe from here that he got a hand on it. I just believe Mark Clayton didn't make the play. Bump and run coverage tight. He's going to force him to the outside. That's Sterling Sharp there, right there. He's got to make that play. He normally does, but a guy that's caught over 100 balls that many times, we'll give him a little grace.
Well, it's interesting that McNeil is over at the right corner instead of Scott. Jenkins tightens up on the left. It's 3rd and 10. Sharp goes in motion into the middle. Deep drop by Favre. Favre now will put it down and run. And slides to the 42-yard line. That's about where the first down marker is. We'll see where it's spotted. Willie Clay coming up defensively. And he is short. The Packers must punt.
He wanted to throw a screen. There was no screen back. Nobody out there. He's looking for the screen. The wall was formed. The guard was out there. Center was out there. No one to throw the football to.
Wagner with Mel Gray in deep for the Lions.
Not a good punt.
Off the side of his foot. And it goes out of bounds. And it's going to be spotted up at the 31-yard line. A 28-yard punt. Dick, you know Reggie as well as anybody. What about his performance today?
Well, so far it's been pretty quiet. He's made some good plays. You know, they don't really plan to double him anybody unless the center and certain protections can work his way. And that's the only way they really plan to. But he's also playing on Freilich, who's been a Pro Bowler in his day. And he's down there on that guard technique many times. When he's outside and wide, he's on David Lutz, and David Lutz is doing a good job.
Before the intermission, Eric Kramer. He's a survivor, folks. He's driven his Volkswagen from the Canadian Football League. All he wanted was a chance. And he's got it here today again. Took the Lions to the playoffs 2 years ago. And that time it was Matt Brock coming across, approaching if there was contact there, and that'll cost them.
Brent, now I don't know if they're doing this because of injury reason, but they're starting out with a nickel defense, 5 defensive backs and 2 linebackers. That could be due to the injury situation. Now, if Detroit looks up and sees that, they're going to run at that nickel back.
Well, the big change with the Lions' defensive backfield is the fact that the high draft choice from Miami, McNeil, is going on that corner where Crockett would have been. So it's 1st and 5 after the penalty. Kramer gets good protection, incomplete, overthrew Green, who was the intended receiver that time.
You know what happens to Reggie White many times is when they go into the short drop, the 5-step drop passing game, they get rid of the ball in 2.3 to 2.5 seconds. It frustrates him. He can't get there. Plus, many times they hold him. Sometimes they double him up. 92 left side of your screen on Freilich and Lutz. See, they got 2 people blocking him right now. Tough to get through 2 people. Good scheme.
Second and 5. Holman, the tight end, stays on the move a lot. Leads for Barry Sanders. Crease. Sanders cut back. Already had a 44-yard explosion in the first half. He's into Green Bay territory with a 15-yard run.
Detroit has not been pulling any linemen for a while. They've been really man blocking, but they're going to pull this time and pull him through. That's Freilich coming around. Little change up. Freilich coming through. He leads it. Bang! Gets the seal-off block right there. That opens up the hole. Nice job by Big Bill Freilich.
13 carries for 107 yards for Barry Sanders. Holman again, a better blocker on the move. The veteran tight end off a play fake. Kramer goes deep. Penalty flag. More. It's incomplete. And there is a penalty flag being thrown.
Herman Moore, the best place to throw the ball to him is up high. Of course, not out of bounds. A 7'2" high jumper, ACC outdoor-indoor high jump champion. He can leap. Plus, he's being covered by a 5'9". You might as well go after him. Top of your screen, Buckley playing conservative. He looks back, he's going up, get the ball over the outside shoulder. 1 foot down, not 2. Look at him leap. Look at him leap. Got his hand on him.
Well, you could see on the replay clearly he was pushing off on the defensive back, and the ball's being brought back here to the 40-yard line on the offensive pass interference.
But that's a good shot, Brent. You should do with that matchup, you should do that 2-3 times in a ball game, especially if you're going to catch him in single coverage.
George Teague and Butler are the 2 deep safeties for the Packers. And on 1st and 20, the needle that time to Holman.
See, now that time Reggie White got off on the ball like a shot, got up around the outside David Lutz, but by the time he got there, the ball's gone. Good rhythm. The emphasis of the 2.5-second clock on the practice field every day since Levy has taken over, it has really helped them. They're getting rid of the ball. You can't get to them.
Second down and 13. Holman again in motion. Sanders cuts away for the pressure and then threads his way back inside midfield to about the 47. Reggie White trying to dance with Berry.
You know, when you have a running back like Berry, offensive linemen really have to concentrate on sustaining their block regardless of where it was originally designed to go, because he's going to end up on your back porch. He's going to be back over there, and you better maintain contact with your defender.
3rd and 9 for the Lions. Lions lead the Packers by a field goal.
Looks
10
like
minutes
blitz.
left in the 3rd.
Well, they bluffed it.
The swing to Sanders, and he's defended on the swing by Buckley.
Real good job by the defensive people that time. They came up and they bluffed the blitz. It looked like blitz all the way, and then they backed out. That changes that quarterback's thinking right now. He's thinking, I got to get rid of the ball right now. They turn it into zone. That's what happened.
Robert Brooks is set to return this Arnold punt.
Boy, tough to return that.
Takes a beautiful bounce down inside the 5, and the Lions are going to down it on the 6. "46 yards for Arnold. The Packers are buried. No one loves this better than the coach.
You
All
bet.
over. What about this Lion defense now, Dick?
I think they're playing very well. You know, they haven't given up the big play. Sterling Sharp's caught 2 balls, and they're not doing anything special for Sharp. They said they didn't plan to. They just wanted to make sure they did a good job against the other receivers. And overall, they're playing very well.
Dick, how tough is it going to be for a young cornerback to hold up on that side now?
Well, you know, it's always tough on the younger cornerback, but if you get the pass rush, he'll look better. And they're getting pretty good heat on him right now.
So far, Brett Favre with 1 touchdown pass to Sterling Sharp, but Brett Perriman has been the hot receiver on the other side.
8 catches, 100 yards in that first half of the 114.
The ball at the Packers' 5-yard line. Favre with 1 running back. He'll throw for the goal line, incomplete. Wanted West. West was double covered.
Boy, does he throw it hard. Oh, my gosh. You get blisters catching that kind of kid. West just going to try to get in between the 2 linebackers in the zone. Wham, that ball gets there quickly. He stops up. Wham. Tough to catch it when the ball's coming from that short a distance, throwing that hard.
Edgar Bennett is the running back behind Favre. Without a completion so far in the 3rd quarter. Bennett, and he is stuffed. Spindler, the nose man, hits him first. In his former life, Spindler would have been a Pirate.
I believe Spindler is starting to get in rhythm with the quarterback's cadence, and if they don't change it, he's going to be in the backfield. Center of your screen, Spindler. He's moving on the snap. Quarterback better change the rhythm. Better change the count number, because Spindler's going to end up in the backfield.
3rd and 11. A danger down for the Packers coming out. Far from his own end zone. Intercepted. Touchdown, Detroit. Melvin Jenkins, who was picked up from Atlanta.
It's a double zone corner playing soft to the right side of your screen. Should have never thrown this ball. See him sitting outside like that, just sinking, baiting him to throw the football. He took the hook. Touchdown. Boy, that sagging double zone is tough for the quarterbacks to read.
Jason Hanson. Detroit with some daylight. It's Melvin Jenkins. Turned loose by Atlanta for financial reasons. Picked up by the Detroit Lions. And what a great pickup, as Ray Crockett is injured. Jenkins scores for Detroit.
You see the two deep safeties here, each going to take half the field. The corners are going to roll up and just sit and squat right there. They're just going to back easy. See, nothing forcing them inside. In the old days, they used to pressure much quicker. Not now, they sag.
Corey Harris from inside the 5. And Harris to the 26-yard line and down. So it was Brett Favre's interception, and a week ago with 5 turnovers, 4 of them interceptions, and the Lions turned those turnovers into 17 points. This time they score one cleanly off the interception by Jenkins, and Favre comes back to work.
That's all part of growing up. But boy, I'll tell you, the coaching staff has a lot of patience, a lot of confidence, and they're going to just let him grow up as to end the ball game.
Now Kevin Scott goes back at the right cornerback spot. This is Edgar Bennett. Bennett on a cutback to the 31-yard line. Tell me, what about Coach Holmgren on the Green Bay sideline?
Brett, one of the things that Mike talked about at halftime with the Packers was being able to have some early success in this half to take the crowd out. It bothered Favre early in that first half. They wanted to take the crowd out. Obviously, they haven't done that, and it is causing some problems down here on field level.
One of the things that caused more problems was Jim Arnold's punt, which was down at the 5-yard line, setting up great defensive field position. Now on a roll. Favre's got an open man. It's West. West into Detroit territory to the 46-yard line. The tight end wide open that time for 24 yards.
This is tough to defense. You give them full flow this way, bring the ball here, bring the tight end across. Linebackers are playing run. Really tough to defense. It's in a zone coverage. He comes right underneath everybody, finds a zone. See, nobody there. Linebackers are playing run. Tough to defense.
This drive could be huge for Favre's confidence. Clayton and Sharp are the wide receivers. It's Thompson sweeping to the right, and he is hit by Hayworth. ABC's NFC wildcard coverage is being brought to you by Miller Lite. Great taste, less filling. Can your beer do this? The new Dodge, a division of the Chrysler Corporation, and Dollar Rent-A-Car, right on the airport, right on the money. Detroit 17, Green Bay 7. 6:28 to go in the third quarter here in the Silverdome. In overtime earlier today, Kansas City advanced, eliminating Pittsburgh. 2nd and 10. Running back Bennett open. They throw in underneath the zone, and Jenkins, who had the interception for the touchdown, is shaken up, making that stop. Jenkins is down at the 40-yard line.
Now remember, he's playing in place of Crockett, who's out of the ball game with a sprained shoulder. You start losing corners, it starts changing your defensive game plan. If you had planned to use a lot of man coverage, sometimes that man coverage disappears because you don't have a corner that can play man-to-man to replace it.
We'll be right back. One of those unfortunate things, but his own teammate, Jamison, coming over, and you'll see the impact with Jenkins, who goes down in a heap at the 40-yard line. Now Melvin Jenkins, we've already told you the story. He signed as a free agent, leaving Detroit after a couple of seasons. He signed with the Atlanta Falcons. And the Falcons, who were reducing their salary cap toward the end of the season, turned him loose, and the Lions picked him up on waivers. They did not expect to be using him this much, but he stepped right into the lineup And one of the reasons why is that he knows Buller's terminology. He knew exactly the different plays that were being called, and so he could help out last week. And while we have a reminder here, let's tell you that tomorrow, the premiere of ABC's 1994 golf coverage, Greg Norman, Fred Couples, Jack Nicklaus, and the stars of the PGA and Senior Tours tee off in the final round of the Mercedes Championships. Live coverage begin at 3 Eastern right here on ABC. Freddie Couples leading the regular phase of that tournament by 1 over Phil Mickelson. They're through 11 holes. And over on the senior side, Dave Stockton and Bob Murphy are tied towards the end of the 3rd round. And of course, both tours, the regular and the seniors, are played at the Mercedes Championships. And unfortunately here, all precautions being taken with Jenkins down. Now you wonder what kind of substitutions. Here he is. Great scene there as he bounces back up.
You see the trainer, Kent Faub, one of the really well-established trainers in the National Football League, been here for many, many years, an outstanding guy. So he is in very good hands with Kent Faub.
Well, another veteran, Dick, checks into the Lions defense, and that's Tim McKyer, who is a much-traveled defensive back.
He is much traveled, but his asset is one-on-one man-to-man coverage, so that allows him to play man. He is not a very good zone player, but a very good man-to-man player.
Kevin Scott is on the field. McKyer will go over to the right corner right now, and Scott will come over to the left. Remember, Benny Blades unable to play. He broke a leg. He tried earlier this week to see if the Lions could use him at all in the playoffs if they advance, but he's just unable to go. He could run backwards, but he could not explode and go forward. So here now is Kevin Scott, and Sterling Sharp comes over on that side of the formation, and they will throw Thompson in motion at that side. Favre with time sits still and picks up Thompson. Thompson out of bounds inside the 30.
See, he did a very good job with his progression that time. They really don't read coverages. They read a pattern progression. He went 1, 2, 3 and got it there. And when you set that short and that close to the line of scrimmage, you need time to go through that progression without people in your face. He got the time, he got the completion.
So earlier in overtime, Kansas City moving on to the Houston Astrodome and the Red Hot Oilers. What a game that'll be next Sunday. 1st and 10. Now Favre on the hand to Bennett. No daylight, nothing doing. The defense was ready. Spielman and Jamison ate it up.
See, they brought Jamison off the strong side outside linebacker. He constricted the play. It got up underneath him. Then he wheeled around and came back in and made the play. Good job, George Jamison. Good, solid, all-around, day in and day out Sunday football player. Playing on Saturday this week.
2nd and 11. Sharp is the slot receiver to Favre's left. Favre gets time, fires, beautiful catch by Sharp for the touchdown. What a grab at the goal line. A 28-yard scoring strike, his 2nd of the day.
You just can't say enough about the value of a strong arm. Now they get the wide receiver Sharp on Harry Colin, a safety. That's a mismatch, and the ball is thrown right where it has to, and as hard as he can throw it, wham, right down the pipe. It is there before he can get help. Right on the money. Nice job, and not bad coverage. Just perfect execution.
Now it's Chris Jackie as the Packers jump right back into it. That was a great drive for Favre's confidence.
See, great statement, Brent, and you can see why Holmgren stays with the guy. Why he doesn't jerk him when he throws the interception.
And you can see why Sharp is headed for the Hall of Fame.
The coverage did not break down here on the safety. The coverage broke down here up front. Normally in a double zone, you're going to have a man take the slot man so he cannot get off the line of scrimmage cleanly, especially a Sterling Sharp. He does not do it. He gets on the safety one-on-one like that. In that type of coverage, he gets it right in between the two safeties. Touchdown.
Jackie and Gray awaits it at the 5. Derek Moore in front of him. Gray this time did not get the kind of return that helped beat Green Bay a week ago. Down at the 21-yard line now for the Detroit Lions. And we'd like to pause 5 seconds to allow our ABC stations to identify themselves.
I'm Tom Sutton. You're watching Channel 12, your Packer playoff station.
4:26 left in the third period with Dick Vermeil and Tim Brandt. I'm Brent Musburger. Sterling Sharp, 2 touchdown catches for the Green Bay Packers, who trailed Detroit by 3, 17-14. The long storied rivalry. This is the first time that the Lions and the Packers have ever met one another in a playoff game. Now 1st and 10 with Barry Sanders behind Eric Kramer. Off a fake to Sanders. Kramer, open man is Perriman. He has had the hot hand all day. Out to the 40-yard line now. 19 more yards. He hit 100 in the first half, and now 9 catches for 119.
Did a real good job with play action that time. And see what they did is they ran a receiver deep, vertically to the end zone, run the receiver Perriman inside that stretch zone. Tough to cover that with play action.
Now it's the Lions' turn to come out. The Packers put 4 linemen down. Sanders coming along the line, could not find the crease against that defense. Bennett.
Good job of defense there by Brock as well. He wouldn't let him cut back. Barry wanted to cut back, but big Matt Brock was right there. Bennett in proper position, Brock in proper position.
Well, it's the playoffs, and big players are making big plays. 2 catches by Sharp. Barry Sanders over 100 yards already. Joe Montana leads Kansas City back. A sudden death victory in their game in Kansas City, just what you'd expect. And more to come. 2nd down now and 9. This is home in the motion man. Penalty flags fly. Kramer deflected from Perriman, and a penalty flag also thrown onto coverage. It was deflected. Roland Mitchell, but there was a penalty flag on the coverage and also on the snap back at the line.
See now the difference in the way that they played their zone coverage with the slot man, Brent. They run a man-to-man with that slot. It was very effective that time.
We have multiple fouls on the defense. Offsides on the left side of the line. That penalty will be declined. We have unnecessary roughness on the defense. 15 yards from the previous spot. 1st down.
First one, defensive lineman jump offside. There you see Brock. Then you see 77 Moss. Here's the second one. Ball batted away.
Oh, clearly
Wham,
Butler came up and hit Perriman after the ball has been deflected. Now he is reacting like he's taught, and I think he just got up too high. When the ball has been touched, you go to keep a receiver out, but I think accidentally Butler got up around the helmet area and the flag was thrown. Now on 1st down, Kramer wants Perriman. He's got it again and out of bounds. More yards against Roland Mitchell.
The value of having touch, crossing pattern. Tough to throw that one, but very nice touch. Lays it right where he has to, gets the man-to-man coverage guy playing him outside. Right on the money, lays it over the defender, over the outside shoulder, the offensive player. Well done.
Now watch the face mask here on the end of this replay. So tack on some more yardage as he inadvertently grabs the face mask, and the ball is put down at the 7-yard line. And Brett Perriman, 10 catches, 150 yards on the day, and 1 touchdown. Obviously a career day in both categories for Brett Perriman.
He had 8 versus Chicago earlier this year for his best game this year. Going way beyond that right now. 15 yards a catch, 1 touchdown. That 1 touchdown catch was a beauty.
First and goal, Sanders.
You know, the funny thing about this guy is that he's the strongest guy pound for pound on the football team. Can you believe that? A wide receiver.
It'll be Sanders, left side, just short of the 5-yard line. It'll be second and goal for Detroit. It is interesting that at practice during the week, the Lions inside the 10 used Chris Spielman as their fullback, their blocker, to set up things, as they did in the game a week ago. But now with Barry Sanders healthy again, they give the Packers an entirely different look, using one running back and an extra wide receiver, giving Detroit just a little more option. But Spielman can be used as a blocking back, and was.
I think we'll see him if they get down to like the 2-yard line, Brent, and haven't scored prior to that time.
Kramer snaps one, intercepted in the end zone by George Teague, and Teague may go the distance. He's loose. The rookie from Alabama is going to go 100 yards. What a turnaround by George Teague. The one thing Kramer has avoided, he has not here today. 102 yards. Now it's official. 101 yards for Teague.
Both interceptions as he was going in to score, forcing the ball. Second interception this year, the rookie from Alabama. First-round draft choice. Had 14 interceptions in college. None of them as important as this one.
An electrifying moment in this playoff game. Jackie adds the extra point. The Packers with a 4-point lead. This was where they were a week ago, and they couldn't make it hold up.
They were motioning to a trip set, 3 receivers to the right side of your screen. Here's this half roll set up. Fire in there, trying to get it in between people right there. Throws it outside. Actually, if he throws it inside to Ty Alec, he gets it. Teague, outside position, picks it off, takes it the distance. I'll bet he's exhausted right now. Another look at it. Ty Alec, 49. He settles down right there. He just throws the ball to the outside. Didn't put it in the numbers in between the 4 and 9. If he does that, touchdown. He didn't do it. Touchdown the other way.
21-17. Packers with the lead, and now it's Gray's turn. Can they seal him up? They do. And a penalty flag thrown on the return. It came late. Jim Morrissey, the former Bear linebacker, down on coverage for the Lions. The penalty is against Detroit.
Now what Detroit has to be careful of is not to allow a play like that to sap you emotionally. You were playing with great intensity. George Teague.
Number 58.
Long
during the return. 10 yards. First down.
I like that bandana. Got to get me one of those. Look at that. You look good in that Sound of Savannah. Down here playing golf with that, Brent. You look good in that.
That's where half of these players came, is from down to the southeast.
I know it.
Florida State, Florida,
Miami.
they love the football down there. First and 10 now, 21-17. Lions find themselves trailing, and it's Barry Sanders out to the 15-yard line, and Brock is there defensively.
They had a great offensive drive that last series. They don't want to change their thinking. They want to stay with what's going, stay with those good fundamental runs, mix it up with the play actions. You can see that was a good call. The touchdown pass was there. All he had to do was throw it in there complete.
Sanders with a huge day, 119 yards, 17 carries, carrying the load for the Lions. Final minute, third quarter. Holman again in motion. Sanders on the delay. Sanders slips a tackle. Sanders sprinting wide to the right. First down, Detroit.
He is unbelievable. people have. If you don't get your arms wrapped around solid on this guy, you just don't knock him down. That low center of gravity, those big legs, strength coach told me that this guy squats with over 600 pounds. That's a lot of weight. Those calves are massive. It's a lot of power out of him.
You'll take a break, and Derek Moore, who came off the injured list this week, checks in. Final seconds, third quarter. Off a fake to Moore. Kramer on the release, able to get it into Moore's hands for a yard or two, and Wayne Simmons is there defensively as the third quarter comes to the end. A 101-yard interception return by George Teague has Green Bay ahead. We'll return with more from the NFC Wildcard Playoff after this word from our ABC station. With Dick Vermeil and Tim Brandt, I'm Brent Musburger. The final 15 minutes here of the NFC Wildcard Playoff game. The division champion Detroit Lions had a huge advantage in turnovers a week ago, but today Wayne Fontes' quarterback Eric Kramer has thrown 2 interceptions as the Lions were going in for scores, one of which was returned by George Teague, 101 yards. That's the difference. It's 21-17. Lions trying to come back again now. Second down and 8. Kramer off a quick fake. He's got Moore, who's been shut out, and he overthrew him. Herman Moore, the leading receiver on the year, has been shut out because Brett Perriman has caught everything in sight. Let's take a look at the numbers through 3.
Well, Detroit had that real good drive that ended up throwing the interception on, so they should still be ahead stat-wise. They are 296 total yards, 222, 2 turnovers. That plus 1 turnover is right now the difference in the ball game. Time of possession closing up. Rushing yards, big advantage right there for Detroit.
A couple of huge plays by 2 defensive backs. Jenkins scoring a touchdown for the Lions off an interception. Teague gets one the other way for the Packers. Now Kramer, left side. It's Green, a complete. And that was Sammy Walker, number 23, after a 12-yard gain for the Lions, who are on the move.
They were going to try to double the slot that time with a combination coverage. They were going to take the weak safety and go inside out here on this man right here. That's how they ended up single coverage on top. Follow the free safety as he goes to help in the hole right there, looking, see, baiting him to try to throw it in there. They didn't do it. He read it properly, went to the one-on-one coverage.
Perriman's the slot man to the right. The running back Sanders dances to the left. Still looking as Walker brings him down at the 39-yard line.
He starts inside, and it's the corner on the sideline that makes the play. Sammy Walker. So important defensively from a linebacker standpoint, and almost all the players keeping your shoulder square to the line of scrimmage when you defense that guy. Nice job by Sammy Walker. If you get turned at right angles to the line of scrimmage and start chasing that guy in the direction he wants to initially go, it's a mistake.
All 19 rushes for the Lions today by their superstar, number 20, Barry Sanders. A little oxygen time on the sideline here. Kramer high, Moore, his first catch. It is a legal catch. Even though he was in the air, the official judging that had he not been hit, he would have come down inbounds. The ball at the 41, a gain of 20 yards. That was Leroy Butler who slammed him.
He throws the fade outside the rolled up corner. Free safety, their strong safety Leroy Butler working his way over there. Got there a step late, but not without intensity. Really gave him a good shot. Good concentration by Herman there. Hang on to that football. Pull it to the body and don't lose it.
Leroy Butler coming off his best season ever. He's a former Seminole. 6 interceptions and a huge play to seal up a victory over the Bears when Jim Harbaugh had them on the move. Now Kramer back in the middle. Can't find an open receiver. Takes off and cut from behind by Bennett, who was trying to jar the ball loose as he came over him with his right paw. The Lions have spread the passing around this way. Yeah. Perriman.
Holman, Moore. Hey, and when your guy's hot, you might as well keep throwing the football. But you saw earlier in this drive, they tried to go I&O on him. They didn't throw it to him. They went to the outside receiver.
Bill Fralick is coming off the field. So he's out of the offensive line on 2nd and 9. They run the draw with Sanders. Big hole left side. Slips a tackle. Gets past Teague. First down, Detroit.
Good job by the center and offensive left guard, Glover and Richards to the right side of the green. See Richards 67 get that nice block on Simmons 59. That's what allowed Barry the room and the time to bounce to the outside and accelerate upfield. Good job by Dave Richard, another unrestricted free agent out of San Diego, signed this year. Good acquisition.
20 carries for 140 yards for Barry Sanders on his return. Off a fake to him. Kramer now will slide it off. And that's Derek Moore. Tackled at the 30 by Johnny Holland, number 50. So Jenkins, who was knocked out accidentally by his teammate, has returned to the sideline.
Well, he at least got to play. Ray Crockett, who was supposed to play in that position, couldn't play. Talked to him in the locker room yesterday. I don't know. It's been a long time since I visited with a player so dejected about not being able to play in a football game. He really wanted to play. And this guy wants to play. You'd think he'd be exhausted. He hadn't run the football in a long time.
Taking a break now with Moore on the field. 2nd down and 11. Moore slides out. They swing to him. He gets past Buckley, and Holland comes up to grab him short of the first down. This is a big 3rd down decision coming up here for Detroit, and they don't wait. Here comes Barry Sanders back in the game.
Good job of just laying it off against the zone, looking downfield, then he just takes what they give him. Be patient when you throw the ball against the zone. They were sagging back there. Good power. He gets his pads down, advances the ball. Good job of making those calls, Dave. And I know you're not making them individually, but you're screening them out. You're telling them whether you want to run or a pass. Keep it going.
Long one. Sanders, no surprise. First down, Detroit. Reggie White trying to bring him down, and the Lions with a fresh set of downs. Now Ty Halleck comes in. He'll give the Lions an extra tight end. Halleck is an interesting story because in his final year at Michigan State, he played linebacker, and he's now a full-time tight end.
Good job of using the tight end as a trap blocker in motion. Holman came across, kicked out Bennett, gave him the room to run up underneath.
This game could be a blowout except for this performance, both times in the end zone. And Teague returning one of them, 101 yards for a Packer touchdown. Now 1st and 10. Perriman is the motion receiver to the left for Kramer. Kramer looks to that direction. Middle is covered. Kramer down now at the 18-yard line as his receivers were well covered that time, and Tony Bennett in pursuit.
Good adjustment by Ray Rhodes. He saw that Bill Fralick, the offensive right guard, was out of there. Backup Sean Bowens was in there. Hasn't played much this year. He puts Reggie White back in the ball game and puts him on Sean Jones. And that time he gave Sean lunch.
Sammy Walker will give the Packers an extra defensive back. Bennett to the sideline. Buckley comes over on Moore. Perriman is in the slot. And they give to Sanders on the draw. Sanders out of bounds. A 13-yard burst for number 20.
Wide outside rush right here, but the key was the block right here by Willie Green on the corner. Got up underneath all right, got the wide block by Lomas Brown. Big hole, but nice block up on top by Willie Green.
1st and goal. Derek Moore is the running back. It's Moore blasting. Moore toward the end zone. Touchdown, Detroit.
blocking by Holman. Good blocking by Lutz on the right side. Little too deep move there by Bennett defensively. They ran up underneath him. Good power to get in the end zone by Derek Moore.
Jason Hanson gives Detroit a 3-point lead as they move 89 yards in 15 plays. The big play call was 3rd and 11, and Barry Sanders went 13 yards, then Moore for the touchdown. If you're interested in coaching football and you want to see how to do it with special teams, come to a Frank Gams practice. It is a classic. He's one of the great special teams coaches in the National Football League. And it helps to have a leg with the strength of Hanson, the young man from Washington State whose brother kicked for the Huskies in Washington out of Spokane. Now will attempt to drive it back in the end zone again. This one a little bit shorter. High and returnable. Harris. 15. Harris with a seam. 35. Makes like Mel Gray. And it's Harris out to the 49. And now the Packers are in business. A 45-yard return, and Derek Moore made the tackle.
Number 79, Bill Fralick, former All-Pro free agent acquisition from Atlanta this year, out with back spasm right now. Talked to him the other day about how much I think his pass protection has improved. Never seen him pass protect quite as well. He said it's the first time his elbows have been healthy. They went through 4 operations.
The Packers trail it by 3. The ball out near midfield after that splendid return. Favre off the fake, deflected, incomplete, and it was Tracy Hayworth who got a hand on it.
Boy, I'll tell you, that is the best way to defensive pass. Good defensive reaction by Tracy Hayworth. He's actually playing in a rush position in place of the injured Tracy Scroggins. He's getting in there, getting his opportunity, doing a good job.
Holmgren passes the play along to backup quarterback Ty Detmer, who has signaled it in now to Favre. 2nd and 10. West comes over to the left side of the formation. Short drop, which they like. It's Brooks, and Brooks is hit by White. Here is the leader of this defensive secondary, William White. He's from Ohio State, one of Spielman's teammates on a tremendous Buckeye team. Quietly goes about his business, doesn't get as much attention as Blades, but the players on the Detroit defense will tell you this is the glue that keeps us together back there. 7 tackles on the game for White now, and it is 3rd and 9 as the result of that play. Huge call for the Packers. 7:30 down by 3. Sharp comes out to the left. Now in motion. Favre under pressure. Steps away from Hayworth. Throws deep downfield. He's got a man open, and it's out of bounds. Clayton was wide open down inside the 10-yard line.
See, Brent, when you're running to your right and throwing downfield, you will normally throw the ball wide to your right because your body is moving in that direction. It is tough to throw that straight downfield when you're running hard to your right. That's why the ball was pushed outside. Clayton wanted that one badly.
Well, the defensive back obviously thought that there was safety help in that call, and as a result, the Packers must punt it away. But a golden opportunity disappears. Gray with a fair catch at the 12-yard line, and the Packers, oh my, are they going to be looking back at that play? Oh boy, they should have had the lead here.
You see what happened on that last scramble play, why he got deep. Defender Kevin Scott, number 38, left-hand side of your screen, pedals back. He's expecting help from the safety. I think they're in what they call a quarter. He turns to the outside safety, and the safety had moved over way too flat. Scott turned the wrong way, lost him. He's wide open. Could have been. Here's William. He knows. Look at it. He said, thank God. Thank God.
Thank you up above for that one. 1st and 10 now, and the Lions will try to eat up the clock. Barry Sanders out to the 20-yard line. What a magnificent day he has had coming off that injured left knee. 164 yards, 23 carries. Now Pat Swilling has been watching much of the second half, shaken up and unable to contribute.
He has a muscle pull.
That's Benny Blades there alongside him to the right, wearing the vest. Now with a broken leg, will not play even if the Lions move along to San Francisco. 6:30 to go now. The clock important if they can bring it down on a cutback. First down for Detroit. Pop brings him down. And a reminder that tomorrow night, all new episodes of America's Funniest Hour, followed by Lois and Clark. Then for the first time on TV, Sylvester Stallone and Kurt Russell, starring Tango and Cash, the Sunday night movie tomorrow night on ABC. Here it is, 24-21. The Lions with the lead and the defense doing some homework.
Lamar Leachman, the defensive line coach, real veteran of this game, excellent football coach, was with Bill Parcells and the New York Giants, here doing a fine job.
Now it is Holman on that cutback. Good blocker on the move, and he'll try to lead Berry to that corner. They cut Sanders off, and down at the 25. Well defense that time. Leroy Butler coming up.
Leroy Butler came up. Wayne Simmons sacrificed his body. He went right underneath the pulling guard, knocked him down, spilled the play. Good job of outside linebacker play by Wayne Simmons.
Derek Moore checks in, and Sanders comes out.
He's got to be getting tired. You haven't played in a long time and you're carrying the load. Look at that, 175 yards. He's got to be getting tired.
Two big plays coming up for the Packer defense. Moving down toward the 5-minute mark and trailing by 3. On 2nd and 9, Kramer firing Moore, and Holland's got him short of the 30 at about the 28-yard line. This is going to leave them with about 7 yards here on 3rd down. And this could be the big play of the game defensively for the Packers. They need to force a punt here, and Sanders reports right back in.
Bryce Pop right now is going off the field. He's playing on guts. He's hurt. Wasn't even sure. He didn't practice all week. They weren't sure he could play. He is a guts guy. He's been hurting the whole game. He goes out right now.
Three receivers to the right, including Holman for Kramer in this 3rd down set. They show blitz, and here they come. Kramer picks it up, first down, and Green breaks free. They pick the blitz up, and they go to Green, the hot man, for the first down.
You'll see the safeties working up in here, coming up to give the blitz. Hot receiver coming back inside. He read the safeties blitzing. Quarterback, wide receiver making the adjustment. Here they come. They fill the gaps properly. He gets it off correctly. Almost runs out of the tackle.
A wide man saw the blitz, and he slants in quickly, and there came the throw from Kramer for the first down on the 21-yard gain. Ball near midfield now. Clock down toward 4 minutes. Sanders is wrapped up. This will leave him at 2nd and 10. It's Matt Brock.
Did a good job of working off his block, coming down the line of scrimmage, inside out. Sanders wanted to cut back, couldn't cut back. There was Matt Brock. Green Bay, almost 8 minutes, and they have won 14 straight football games when they lead in time of possession.
The Packers squandered 2 timeouts in the first half, but not in the second. They have all 3 remaining. 2nd down, and the clock moves to 3:30. Kramer, the veteran, is letting the clock come down. He's able to see it when he steps down under center. Then the handoff, and it's Barry Sanders going nowhere. This is 3rd and long, and another huge play for the Packer defense coming up.
Packers have to play it aggressively. They can't sit back. They've already seen when they get in those zones and use those wide rushes that the draws are more effective. They're constricting the defense, getting into some man coverage and taking them on. Not much time left with 3 minutes to go and down by 3.
Now Derek Moore has been sent out as a pass receiver on times when he has replaced Berry, except on his touchdown run. 3rd and 10. And Kramer. Kramer to the right, throws, dropped by Perriman, and the Packers pounce on him, but it's incomplete. But it is 4th down, and Arnold must punt. So at 2:41, the Packers get an opportunity here to see what they can do. Could we be headed for a second overtime on this first day of the playoffs? Kansas City and Pittsburgh went to overtime today, with Kansas City winning.
See, they're playing very tight now. See, they wanted to run the pick. They're crowding them right now. They don't want to give them those loose zones. Even though they picked each other and ended up with a free man, they're still crowding them.
Penalty flag is thrown. The Packers are saying that there was movement prior to the snap on the part of the blockers in front of Arnold.
False start, number 99 on offense, moving prior to the snap. Still 4th down.
Now Brooks is the return man. He had been set up back on his 10-yard line.
Here's Arnold having his best year, 44.8 average, an 11-year veteran. I asked him about that. I said, you're not getting old. Is it because you're doing a better job of conditioning? He said, actually, after my knee operation, I can't work as much in the offseason. Maybe there's a secret there.
Now the Packers must hold up the outside mid. This is one of those moments when they need to give Brooks an opportunity. Arnold will try to get it high and force a fair catch and get it down inside the 20. 2:41 to go. Brooks is inside the 10 on a beautiful punt. They kick it to that side. They try to seal it up, but he gets a block. Brooks out to the 27-yard line, and it was a wonderful block. A 49-yard punt and a 21-yard return. So ABC's NFC Wildcard coverage is being brought to you by the team members at Saturn, a different kind of company, a different kind of car. New Wavy Lays. They're not your ordinary ridge chip, they're Lays. MCI and cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft. Get out of the old, get into the cold.
Frank Gantz will be upset with, he's had a kickoff return for longer yards than he'd like and a punt return for longer. And he does a great job, as we already said, of coaching all phases of the kicking game.
The crowd becomes an advantage now. Favre sets the screen. They scored off this last week. Bennett slips a tackle. Bennett to the 40, and he is smacked there, but it's a first down for Detroit. Harry Colon makes the stop after a 12-yard gain. Clock down now to 2:10. Packers down by 3.
Bennett likes to run the screen plays. He has a lot of confidence in him. He has confidence in his offensive linemen, and he allows the screen to develop.
A week ago, Chris Jackie nailed a 54-yarder. He's that long. We'll be right back. Jackie, you've got to like his odds. He's 6 of 7 from 50-plus yards.
I can't picture anybody in the NFL right now having any better stats. The best kickers over the years, the best guys in the league, average 59% outside 50 yards, but 6 or 7 is outstanding.
But first things first, the Packers coming out from their own 41. West in motion. Favre short drop. Throws right, complete to the tight end. Close to another first down just across midfield, and William White bringing the big tight end down. Here's a man who's given his entire career to the NFL, playing in his first playoff game today.
Goes in motion, loosens up the defense. Running back that was flanked out comes in, holds the linebacker from dropping out that way. This offense is built for this kind of situation.
Second down and 1. First down, Green Bay, 1:27. And the first of their 3 timeouts used. Favre will go over to the side. They need to get just inside the 35. Jackie will do the rest. Dick, what a turnaround.
After that 100-yard interception return for a touchdown, Brett Favre comes out 7 for 9, outstanding.
Jenkins had the shorter touchdown return for the Lion touchdown. Teague of the Packers went 101 yards. First and 10 now, and Favre pulls out. Drops over the middle, and he's got Sharp at the 40-yard line. Picks him up for 6 yards. Ball is down. No fumble. Tim McKyer, the defender.
Great poise under pressure. Doesn't allow the negative play to affect him. He might come back and make a bad one, but he'll come back and make 3 good ones.
On a quick snap, second down. Favre with daylight and time goes for the whole thing. 55 seconds left for the Lions.
Most teams have rules about what to do when the quarterback gets in a scramble situation. See, the quarterback scrambles away, Scott turns him loose, he turns back and throws it all the way across the field. The value of a strong arm. My gosh. Might have scored too soon though, Brent, the way this game is going.
Great players make great plays, especially in the playoffs. Barry Sanders for the Lions. Sterling Sharp for the Packers. It's been that kind of a day here. The extra point is good. Redemption, revenge, something to prove. Call it what you will, but this could be a defining day for Brett Favre. Everybody knew how good Sterling Sharp was, and he proves it one more time.
They flush him out of there. He almost started to throw it short. Instead, he looks back. He had great awareness of where this guy was going to be in the broken play situation. Has to be coached that way.
And on the other side, having lost Crockett and then Jenkins being knocked out, it was a decimated defensive backfield.
That was a javelin throw technique, that one.
The young man from southern Mississippi. You talk about tough. When he was a senior, he was in a serious car accident, and they took out 24 inches of his intestines. He played football a month later. You're talking tough, folks. 28-24.
I
and
can't
a field
top that
goal
one.
won't help the Lions.
Yes, speak for themselves.
In because of injuries on the corner. And now remember Mel Gray. He's another star, fully capable of making the biggest play yet. It's lonely on the corner in the NFL. You can go from hero to GOAT in 4.5. Jackie hangs it high, and Gray at the 11-yard line. Gray is slammed at the 19-yard line by Marcus Wilson. Now it's up to Eric Kramer, and oh, those two interceptions. When the Lions were threatening to score, one of them by George Teague resulted in a 101-yard interception as the Packers have made the big plays here. 51 seconds. And the Dallas Cowboys right now could be reaching for the reels of tape to take a look at the Green Bay Packers. Kramer jarred loose. Ball is down. Bennett was finally able to jar one loose. He's been trying, and David Lutz, the lineman, recovered. Time now running out on the Lions. Brett Favre, and we have seen a magnificent comeback performance. And Dick, just as you said to me earlier this week, it is very tough, no matter what the team is, to beat the same team in the National Football League on consecutive weekends.
It is. You know, it's being demonstrated here, and then there's been some big plays by both sides, but when the quarterback does things like that, he gets outside and slings it across the field. Granted, the defense should stay within the discipline of defense and stay back there in those situations and not be looking back into the backfield, and safeties should be going to their proper positions. It didn't happen. That's how you lose football games.
Now the Lions. Last 43 seconds, and Kramer will send it off to Barry Sanders. And Sanders is out of bounds at the 15-yard line. 38 seconds remaining. 28-24. Packers lead by 4. Field goal does the Lions no good. They've got to go the distance.
See, and the Packers can sit there now and play the 3 deep zone, even go quarter, 4 deeps all the way across and play, because they have to get more than that field goal.
Teague and Butler, the 2 safeties, 2 deep for Green Bay. 6 defensive backs on the field. And Kramer will go deep for Moore. Moore's double covered and almost made a sensational grab.
Had a shot at it. Might have taken his eye off the ball. He went up for it. No defender knocked it out of his hand. Look, he's upset with himself. Going to the right guy. Get it up there high. Take a shot at it. Gets up there really high. Leaps up there off that lead foot. Way up above everybody. Got to make that catch. Went right between his hands. Can't throw it any better. No question he's got to make that catch. No question.
This is 4th down. 30 seconds. It has come to this for the Lions to stay alive. Kramer, Dallas, here come the Packers. What a gutty performance by Green Bay on the comeback here today. And for Fonts, he just lost 1 too many defensive backs. Upstairs, the Green Bay coaches now celebrating. So they let the division championship slip away. They had to come back on the road to the Silverdome to play again, and they are successful. No matter what the temperature is in Green Bay, it's a lot warmer right now. The Packers move on. And our Tim Brandt's right there with Coach Holmgren, isn't he? As the final seconds tick away, no way they can stop the clock. Barry Sanders was great today. The Packers win it by 4.
Well, you know what? It's been that type of season for us, and we've lost games and they bounced back. I didn't know if we had any more bounce left in us when it got to be 17-7, but they did, and I'm very proud of them.
You're shaking.
I know. I'm sorry. I've never experienced anything quite like this before, and it's a wonderful feeling. I'm so proud of the players. They really earned it today.
Don't know where to start, Favre, Sharp, but how about the play by Teague?
George Teague, I mean, that was the play, I think, that kind of turned us around and got us going a little bit. It didn't look too good down there, and then George makes a big play, a rookie free safety, and our young kids have come through all year.
Mike, congratulations.
Thanks,
big
Tim.
win.
I appreciate it very much. Thank
really
you.
Happy for you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go back upstairs to Brent.
And Tim, he should be proud of this team. And that young quarterback, Brett Favre. This was a gut check for the Packers, and they came through. Enjoy it, because it'll be tough next week when they go down to play the Cowboys, who have been on a roll. And a reminder that tonight on ABC Sports, our country's top women compete for the national crown. And the playoffs are underway, and we'd like to thank some folks. The executive producer of ABC Sports is Jack O'Hara. Today's game was ably produced by Bob Goodrich, directed by Larry Cam, technical director Gary Larkins, associate directors David Keviat and Patrick McManus, features producers Emily Deutsch and Charles Copland, production manager Ed McKenna, technical operations managers Al Fong and Jerry Reuter, assistants to the producer Steve Shunk and Brian Gordon, our director of information Peter Hurt. It's been a wonderful day. Dick Vermeil, the Green Bay Packers coming through in splendid fashion.
Well, Brett Favre finishes his last 11 passes, completes 9 of them. Tough to beat him when you got a competitor like that. And he comes with, you know, it's not a coach play. It's the broken play that he beats you with. Tough if you're on the other side of that, like the Detroit Lions are.
Well, it was nice to have the spotting job this season by Jimmy Tubbs. We'll see him next year. Roger Riley dropping by to keep the numbers. Great job. And for Brett Favre, what a performance. So long, everybody.
Standing by live now, Tom. I just got a chance to cut the highlight of the Sharp thing. All right, we haven't seen that yet because we want to get right to you. But when you're ready to show this, call for that video. We'll roll it over your audio and tell us how in the world Sterling Sharp got wide open in the end zone for what proved to be the winning Packers touchdown. Take it away.
Mark, let's actually go back about another series when Mark Clayton was wide open by about 20 yards, and at that point, Brett Favre launched one where he should have thrown it to the middle of the field. He tried to throw it down the sidelines. That one went out of bounds at everybody, and I'm sure all the Packer fans' heart stopped at that point. They thought that was going to be their last chance, but the defense held the lines. The Lions could make the first downs that would have been able to shut the game out. All of a sudden, the Packers get the ball back. They get a good return on the punt. They start working it down the field slowly. Everybody's thinking about, hopefully, they're just going to get a field goal range and send it in overtime. Now let's roll that tape. All of a sudden, Brett Favre starts to scramble, and just like Mark Clayton was about 5 minutes prior to this, he is wide open down the right-hand side. Favre absolutely launches this one. We were in the opposite end zone watching the players react to it. They were ecstatic. They knew it was a touchdown right away, and all of a sudden the Packers, with less than a minute to go, about 58 seconds, had got themselves into, well, it's going to be a showdown with Dallas. Now let's go to some of the postgame right onto the field. Afterwards, Leroy Butler, obviously the Packer players were ecstatic after this victory.
Oh, boy. I tell you, first thing we got to do is get some rest. Get some rest. We're going to Dallas, baby. I stuck my foot in my mouth because I guaranteed a win. So we got it. So, hey, anything else, I don't care. This team never quits. And that's the thing about it. You can't quit in the playoffs.
The other day you said we got to go home and sleep and dream about making a big play. George
about it. We've been talking about, I said, George, you and Buck got to show up. Because there's no way I'm going to get loose out here. Hey, those guys stepped up and did a great job. Barry Sanders can run all day. But we won the game. I don't give a fuck.
Hey, at the end of the game, you saw Sterling breaking free, or did you watch the ball thrown by Brett and say, what is he doing?
When Brett put it up, you know, I just think it's cash money. He did it in New Orleans, and he did it today. So, hey, what's up, baby? I should have got you there.
Johnny, you guys have been a big play defense all year, but, man, this is pushing it.
Yeah, you know, they got to give them credit, man. They got a good offense. Barry's best in the business. And he ran through us like a paper bag. But we won the game. That's what we wanted to do.
End of the game, you saw Sterling, or did you see Brett throw it up there and say, what's he doing?
I saw Brett throw it, and Sterling been making big plays all year, and that shows Brett. And when he got his back against the wall, he come out fighting. He did a tremendous job getting that ball to Sterling.
You're going to look at the numbers and see Perriman with about 170 yards, Barry about 170, bend but don't break.
Yeah, we got to win. You know, bend but don't break, and all about winning, man.
And all these years you've been playing for a playoff win.
And we won one already, so never know what can happen from here on. All right.
Thanks, John. Hey, come here.
Back in the field, I think we are right now. We've got a bunch of, I'd say roughly about 500-600 Packer fans that came in and are having a good time in the end zone area, where we are obviously talking to you live about this game. What a spectacular play that George Teague pulls off, a 101-yard interception to lift the Packers back into the contest. They were flat at that particular point. It really looked like the Lions were going to seal it up. Teague goes 101 yards. And think back on the interceptions, Terrell Buckley having one that stopped the Detroit Lions from being able to get into the end zone. So the defense played big when they had to. The offense came through with the big plays. This was a truly spectacular afternoon of football here at the Silverdome. Now, if we can, I think we have interviews that we just had just a couple of minutes ago with Mike Holmgren on the field. Let's go to that.
It's unbelievable. I mean, it's just how resilient these young guys are, and they got a great spirit about them.
Have you ever felt quite this exhausted after
No, I am really drained. I'm shaking. I apologize to everybody.
What did you see on that last play to Sterling?
Well, it was in our hurry-up offense. Sterling adjusted his route because of the coverage they gave us. And when Brett looked to the left and started moving around, I always get a little nervous when he does that. But then when he launched it, I saw Sterling. I said, I hope he stays in bounds.
Coach, after Brett threw that interception for a touchdown, what were you able to do to keep this team from falling apart at that point?
Well, you know, Kevin, like I said, that's happened to us before. We had plenty of experience in dealing with that this year. And I'm just so proud of the fact that our defense hung in there. and the offense, I mean, I can't say enough about the players and my assistants. I mean, shoot, they kept me going. It was just a great win for us.
Mike, you lose to him without Barry. You beat him with Barry. What do you make of that?
Well, you know, I've said all along, Barry Sanders, in my opinion, is the best runner in football. And I was hoping Barry wouldn't play, and he had a great game against us, and he is a great football player. I can't explain it other than the fact that Wayne and I will probably battle like that against each other for a long time. All the games will be kind of close.
We can't get better than this.
No, it's great. I got to get into my guys, okay?
I haven't thought about it yet, but...
That was Mike Holmgren out on the field. Also out in the field, Bob Harlan. Bob, is your pulse started back up again?
No, I'm a wreck. I'd like to just say one thing. I'm so happy right now, and my only disappointment, Tom, is that we didn't play this back in Wisconsin so the fans there could see it live. But I want to state that there's no better fans in the world, and this victory is for the Green Bay Packer fans.
And we got some of the fans that made the trip here. Surprisingly, this was not a sellout here at the Silverdome. About 12,000 empty seats. You would not have seen that at Lambeau Field. Just a while ago, I alluded back to the people, our viewing audience in Milwaukee, that I thought this was truly a spectacular playoff game.
Well, it really was. It was very entertaining, and this team has been so resilient all year that every time it played a bad game, it found a way to come back the next week and play strong. And I really felt coming over here last night that we were going to play well today and had a great chance to win. I guess if you're going to win one of the two, this is the one to win.
Okay, and of course now you got a trip down to Dallas.
And we'll be ready.
Okay, Bob, I know you want to get in and talk to some of the players and the coach. Congratulations.
Thank you, Tom.
All right, Bob Harlan, general manager of the Green Bay Packers. And he's waving now to the fans behind us that have literally made their way into the area. You can hear them talking a little bit and screaming and cheering, as well they should. Let's go back out on the field right now. Had an opportunity to talk with Edgar Bennett, another key to the offense for the Packers today. A couple of words on out.
We had the Dallas. We made the big plays when we had to make them. And hey, we hung in there and we got a victory.
No doubt in your mind you're going to pull it out.
No doubt in my mind we had to. When it's a do or die situation, we got to come through. We came through.
Hey, good luck. Good luck on the trip.
I think we're back out now, live now. Again, the fans are having a good time. The contest, although extremely exciting, is obviously very, very disappointing for the Detroit Lions. They had two great single performances, that by Barry Sanders, close to 170 yards. And Brent Perryman, I think he ended up with about 12 receptions. He also went close to 170 yards. Those two pushing the total yardage, probably going to be somewhat dominant for the Lions. At least it was until that final play when Favre hit Sharp into the touchdown area. Can you swing? Swing over to the crowd. Let's see if we can get a shot of the crowd here. Send this back to Milwaukee. We've got a group of Pewaukee backers also. We'll just continue to swing it around just a second, and we'll get our Pewaukee Packer Backer Club in here. As I said before, they weren't that many, but they certainly were noisy. And they were chanting Cheeseheads just a few minutes ago. And they were awfully quiet there in the last minute of play, but they were able to really get off their seats when Brett Favre unloaded for a spectacular game-winning pass with Sterling Sharp against the Detroit Lions. Truly a great contest. You know, before the game yesterday, we were going to try to talk with Reggie White. We did not. Reggie did not want to talk to us at that time. I think really what was going on, Reggie was trying to concentrate on this the game himself. But after the contest, we talked with him. Yeah, he was really wanting to talk at that particular point. Reg, let's hear what you have to say. Defense kept it live all the time.
Yeah, we gave up too much. And our offense wanted for us. We finally got one for us. I want to thank Jesus, for this. And no matter what would have happened, Jesus is still Lord.
This is one of those that makes believers of it's never over until that final gun.
It's not over till it's over. This is a good game. Both offenses did an excellent job. And, like I said, I just praise Jesus.
Thanks, Reggie. And the excitement continues inside the Silverdome. The Lion fans have found the parking lot. The Packer fans have found the north end zone, and they're enjoying themselves. And we will try to find more interviews in the locker room because I'm sure that the Packer players want to talk about this game. This is going to live in their memory for quite some time to come. They win it. They're going to head to Dallas. Mark, let's go back to you for a few minutes.
All right, Tom, good job. We will check you out in just a few moments, as you said. But you saw the partying that was going on and I hear them going, whoop, well, there it is right now at the Silverdome. There's a lot of partying going on in Milwaukee and also Green Bay and all throughout the country for Packer fans right now. Again, the final 28-24, the Packers victorious in their first playoff game in over 11 seasons. More live from the Silverdome in a few moments.
The coach out there shaking, he said. He admitted it.
Yes, there's a lot of emotion.
That's amazing.
A lot of emotion.
We would like to apologize to anyone who was offended by the words uttered by Leroy Butler. This is live television, and of course those guys have a lot of excitement out there.
Yep.
And if anyone was offended by that, we of course apologize for that. Raw videotape, and we do mean raw sometimes in the course of a game. All right, a lot of people excited, Packer fans everywhere, getting together to share in the excitement of playoff fever today. And Merv Seymour is live now with...
feeling awfully good about what you've been able to put together out there. That was a great game.
It was a great game, and I feel really good for all the people connected with the Packer operation. Obviously, the coaches and the players did an outstanding job today. We came in here, and no one gave us a chance to really get it done, and they sucked it up and won a big game. And it's a tremendous thing, I think, for the Green Bay Packers right now, because a lot of people were doubting. We're 9-7. We keep hearing we're 9-7. You weren't as good as you were last year. Well, right now, baby, we're one up on last year, and we're still playing. And that's really a good feeling.
It has to be. And when you take a look at the films, you probably pick it apart pretty hard. But it was definitely a fans' game because they were on the edge of their seats. They were back. They were up. They were down.
I think you're right. Particularly, and I'm glad that our fans had an opportunity to get into the victory column at this time of the year. It's a great thing. And it's unfortunate we weren't able to play this game back in Green Bay, but at least everybody had an opportunity now to see what we're all about. And it shows the grit and determination of our football team, and we'll see what happens next week now.
Now, the maturation process of a bunch of young ball players probably took a giant stride today.
I believe it really did, and I think we witnessed that, particularly in the defensive unit. We saw so many guys having to come out because they kept the ball so much. At least it appeared that our defense was on the field a lot longer than our offense. But we had a lot of maturation on that offensive line. We have a bunch of guys that just sucked it up and played hard, and in the end gave Brett the protection he needed.
Okay, I got one quick question I got to get to you. You saw the pass to Mark Clayton, and did you ever think that another wide receiver was going to get that open again in the game?
I really didn't, but thank goodness he did, and it's a great wide receiver that did that.
You bet. All right, Ron, fans are cheering. I'll let him go talk to some of the players. They're still in the locker room right now. And I think at this time, if we have an opportunity, let's go back just a couple of minutes ago inside the locker room. Reggie White was talking to our Dan Needles.
Yeah, this is a big game. You know, both offenses played well. They ran the ball well. Barry had an excellent game. Kramer did a good job. And, you know, our offense came through today for us, and they deserve a lot of credit. And you know, I want to give all honor and glory to God for this opportunity.
Can you believe the way you guys? This isn't the first time. I mean, you keep bouncing back after tough games. It looked like the game's over, and hold it out.
Yeah, you know, I mean, you got to be proud of Brett. I'm happy for him. I'm glad that he came through with a big one for us. He made some big plays for us, and Sterling. I mean, Sterling caught all the passes, touchdown passes, and you know that's what we're gonna have to win. And they made the big plays. Now, some kind of way we got to go into this week, because this is a week that is supposed to be our back kick. Some kind of way we got to go into this week and work to the point where we can't create mistakes, because if we make mistakes against the Cowboys, we get beat pretty bad. So we got to really, we never focus as much as we should. This week we got to focus, because I think next week we plan against maybe the best team in football.
Sanders gets about 170, Perriman about that much. This is the definition of bend, but don't break on defense.
Yeah, we bent. I mean, you know, we broke a few times, but you know, to win the game is good. You know, that's what's exciting about it. They came out and they took it to us. But like I said, our offense, you know, George ended up making a big play, and then our offense did the rest. So, you know, sometimes when we don't play well, that's what our offense is going to have to do in the day they did it.
Would you rather have a playoff win or a division title? That division title is pretty meaningless right now.
It's meaningless. I'd rather have a playoff win, but you can't take no credit. You can't take no credit away from the Lions.
Well, I'm ready to take a shower and call it a day. We had a great day today, and everybody's excited.
What about that contest? You guys kept battling and battling and battling. Offensively in the huddle of the last few plays, what were you thinking?
Well, we had to go down and score a touchdown. And, you know, I mean, we could have gotten a field goal and put it in overtime, but nobody wanted that. We wanted to go down there and win, and Brett came through for us. And, you know, that's the story right there.
You like to be able to get a touchdown, but were you seriously saying to yourself, we need to make sure that we get it in field goal range, get 3, send it in overtime?
Sure. I mean, you always have to get it and give yourself a chance to win. And once we did that, then, you know, Brett came through and Sterling caught the ball and, you know.
Do me a favor, would you? I don't think a lot of people probably understand the battle that goes on in there for 60 minutes, and you're out there pounding and pounding and pounding. What it meant to you to get up off the ground, take a look, see that ball sailing, and all of a sudden realize that Sterling Sharper is going to make a touchdown catch. You guys are going to be ahead with less than a minute to play.
Well, there's nothing that I could say to describe. It's just a great feeling, tremendous. Yeah, I mean, winning a playoff game, there's nothing else like it.
All right, what about Dallas?
Well, that's what we're going to do next week. We'll go down there and try and get those guys.
All right, stay warm, okay?
Thanks.
All right, Kenny is leaving us, and Johnny Allen coming in here. Johnny, great game.
Hey, thank you. It was an exciting game, a tough football game, and what a way to win. You know, it's probably the toughest game we played this year, and I'm just excited about it.
Okay, you're sitting there, you're watching, you're seeing a pass going in, and all of a sudden you go, we're ahead with less than a minute.
I saw Sterling wide open, and Brett let it go, and you know, just a lot of credit to Brett, the way he bounced back. I know a lot of the media was on him about the interception he threw last week, but he did a tremendous job of bouncing back, and he's a tough competitor, and Sterling just did a good job. You know, respect that out of Sterling every week.
Johnny, take us through it. How does a player keep himself emotionally level in a game that had such highs and lows? You have a 102-yard pass interception by Teague. You have Terrell Buckley gets one here in the end zone to stop him from scoring. They come right back after that, which emotionally should have knocked them out, and they put the ball in the end zone. How do you keep level?
Well, you know, we talk on defense. We got to bend but don't break. You know, anytime we get a chance to keep them out of the end zone, we got to do it. And Teague and Terrell did a great job of the interceptions to keep them out of scoring position. They was in a position where they could have scored, and you know, our defense just rose to the occasion when we had to.
All right, you're going to be able to enjoy this one for about an hour, plane ride back to Green Bay, and all of a sudden you're going to have to take a look at the films and get ready for Dallas.
Get ready for Dallas, and we got to put this behind us. We got 24 hours to celebrate and put it behind us, and Dallas will be a tough opponent for us, and we got to get ready to play.
Are the Green Bay Packers the best 9-7 team in the league?
I would hope so. You know, we'll try to win 3 more. And I think we'll be the best 9-7 team in the league.
Okay, what about the fact that you were able to win here? How much carryover is that to Dallas?
Well, that's big. You know, to win on the road, and they had a real loud stadium. A lot of fans was behind them, and they played with a lot of momentum. And it was big for us to win here, and we got to get used to winning on the road if we want to go to the Super Bowl. All our games be on the road, so it was a good test for us.
All right, I'm going to correct something right now for the fans. You were 9-7 coming into the contest. Now you're 10-7.
Yeah, we're 10-7, so we could keep winning one by one.
All right, thank you, Johnny.
Thank you.
10-7 and the 10th victory of the year, obviously the biggest, and he's heading off right now. And I think do we have Matt Brock on tape right now from inside the locker room? Let's go to that if we can.
Game of my life, actually. Never been to the playoffs before. I've never been to a bowl game in college. Never won anything in high school. You know, so I just kind of don't know how to take it in, but I'm just going to kind of take it in and relax for a while.
Do you think this defense finally got the respect?
I think that a lot of people are going to say we got lucky at the end there, but I don't think like George Teague's play, that wasn't luck, that was skill, that was, you know, a big play for him. I think our defense for the most part all day, you know, played well. I don't think you're ever going to hold Barry Sanders down, you know, to negative yards. I mean, the way he runs, you know, he changes direction so much and makes, you know, 5, 6, 7 people miss on one certain play. So, you know, it's just it's a tribute to this team and how we kept fighting, never got down, and came back at the end. How do you?
All right, and I think we are back out live out at Silverdome. Dan, come in here for a second. Dan Needles has been running around inside the locker room trying to get interviews. You've been inside a jubilant locker room before, but I would think that these guys just probably got cardiac arrest in the last minute.
The look of relief on Brett Favre's face. Sterling Sharp smiling and talking to the media.
Talking to the media.
And we're going to hear that at 10 o'clock. It was short but sweet. He, you know, he was hurting. Brett Favre said Sterling wasn't even the main man on that touchdown pass. He was looking for maybe Mark Clayton, maybe Ed West. He just ran around and threw it. He said the offensive linemen get mad when he does that kind of thing, but not today. It worked for the touchdown.
Well, the bottom line is you want to be able to keep yourself alive in the final minute of the game, a chance or a possibility of being able to get into the end zone, and they did that. But I honestly believed after Clayton had gotten wide open when he scrambled, there was no way, especially on a prevent defense, that anybody would be able to get that deep, and Sterling Sharp did.
You know, it was a lot like the New Orleans game. Everybody's talking about that late in the game. Desperation. He just threw it up for grabs is what it looked like. but he saw Sterling, and he knows what Sterling is going to do. They work together so often. Sterling is smart enough to just go somewhere where he's open, and for some reason, I have no idea why Detroit let Sterling get open. I think they were concentrating so much on Brett Favre rolling out that they lost Sterling, and you cannot lose Sterling Sharp in a game like that. Right now, they have such a high confidence level. They'll make it close next week against Dallas. They might even win. Dallas is playing as good as anybody right now, but the way these guys played today, if they can avoid that letdown that they always have after big wins, hey, they could give them a good game.
You heard it here first, folks. Dan Needle saying they could win that game down in Dallas, and that, of course, is where they're going to go right now. Mark, we're going to go back to you for a few minutes.
All right, Tom, do me a favor. We're going to be on the air for another 20 minutes, if you can hear me. Let's not save that video from Sterling Sharp talk until 10 o'clock. Let's get that out to the truck. We'll come back to you guys in a few minutes.
We are efforting at that right now.
Let's see if we can do that. All right, sounds great.
Right.
We'll come back out to you guys. We're going to stay on the air for the next hour with you. This is exciting stuff, and we don't want it to ever end. Packers season continues. First playoff game for this team in 11 seasons, as you saw right here on the big 1-2, ended in typical Packers heart-stopping, dramatic fashion in Detroit. 20,000 empty seats, or so they said. You couldn't tell. Lions driving their first possession. Terrell Buckley with his interception, his second of the season, and that stops the early threat. Packers trailing 3-0 late in the first. Brett Favre rifles it to Sterling Sharp. Packers led 7-3. 2 minutes to go in the second quarter. Eric Kramer hits Brett Perriman, and the Lions took the 10-7 lead at the break. A lot of fireworks happened in the second half. Lions stretched it to 17-7. Brett Favre, the ill-advised interception, is 25th of the season. Melvin Jenkins with the score and a 10-point Lion lead. But Favre comes back. The big drive, and look at the rifle to Sharp. That closed the gap to 17-14. Packers down 3. Then the play of the day. Lions banging at the door, looking to put one of the nails in the coffin, but George Teague is there, and just as he had done in the national championship game last year, picked off Gino Torretta in that game. He does it for the Packers, and the Packers led 21-17. Still, this game was far from over. Back came the Lions in the fourth. Moore with the banger, and Detroit led 24-21 was the score. And then the big play. It could have been. Look at this. All alone, Brett Favre misses Clayton. But with less than 2 minutes to go, he gets another chance. Brett Favre rolls to his left, looks to his right, and finds Sharp all alone. And take a look at Brett Favre after this play. Elated, ecstatic, understatement, city. And Sharp standing there, just trying to let everything bathe over him. Hey, you guys win, man. Wow, Wayne Fontes could not believe that Sharp was all alone in the corner of the end zone. And celebration time. It's over. 28-24, the final score. All right, Tom Sutton, back out to you. We just showed the highlights, and it's just as exciting to watch in replay as it was live. What do you got?
Your wish is our command. We're going to take care of that Sterling Sharp interview that he actually talked to the media afterwards. Maybe this is a new policy because of the playoffs, or maybe because of the fact that he was such an integral part of a fantastic victory for Green Bay. So let's go to Sterling Sharp talking to the media after today's game.
I think what happened is they played pretty much in zone, and the safety never got over the top, and with Brett going over to his left, I think they just kind of looked over to their left, and Brett just heaved it, and just was standing in the end zone and made the catch.
Did anything make you think you could get behind him?
No, I just think that when Brett rolled to his left, the defense was just reading his eyes, and they just kind of drifted to their left or to their right, and Brett just looked over and made a great throw.
How does it feel, sir?
Well, I've never been here before, so I can't really tell you. This is my first playoff game since I've been here, and I think it's really nice for the guys that have been through a whole lot of Ed West's and Ken Rutgers and those guys. So I think it means a lot more to them. I mean, I'm happy for my team and everything, but I think those guys who've been through the longer struggle than I have, I think it means a lot more to them.
What does it say about the character of the team to come back like they did today after last week?
Well, I don't know about the character, and I can't get into all that stuff. I just know that, we knew what we had to do, and we knew that we had to come in and make plays, and George Teague made a hell of a play there in their end zone for the touchdown, and it's just a matter, the character thing, I can't explain that. You have to ask someone else. But I know we just kept going down, and we never got in a hurry. We never got in a panic situation, and we were just lucky to come out with a win.
How do you feel right now, your physical condition?
I'm pretty beat down. I go through this every week, and, sit around and rest all week and hopefully can be ready to go against Dallas.
How difficult has it been?
It was just a great play by their defense. Their corners just had a situation where they could jump everything. And, you know, Brett threw the ball inside. The corner made a great break. I mean, what can you say? I mean, we've been throwing not that same route, but we've been throwing in front of them all day. Pretty soon, you know, somebody's going to come up at least sometime in the year and pick one off. So it's just a great play by Melvin Jenkins. And I heard he got a concussion. I really hope he's all right. Guys, that's about it for me.
Thanks, Sterling.
All right, that was Sterling Sharpe in the locker room holding a press conference and giving heartfelt thanks to the defense that really did keep the Green Bay Packers into the contest. This is a cheap thrill, but I'm going to do it again. You want to cheer about the Packers? I knew they would. Still hanging around in the Silverdome, some of the Packer fans, north end zone, having a good time, enjoying this. They'll savor it for a long time to come. Mark, hopefully we'll be able to get a couple of more interviews and come back to you a little bit later on.
All right, thanks a lot.
Barry Sanders out over a month. He's in. What change would this make? Obvious. Sanders gets the call, cuts back. Nothing doing left. He goes right, 25 yards. By the time Leroy Butler gets him, he's so excited to get him that he face masks, so it becomes an even longer play. Next play, Eric Kramer throws into the end zone, but Terrell Buckley makes the big pick on a pass intended for Herman's Moore. Lions lead is only 3-0 at 10-0 after one. Second quarter. Now it's the Packers driving. Brett Favre, his favorite receiver, the record-breaking Sterling Sharpe. This goes for 16 yards. Same drive, 2nd and 8. Favre, Sharpe, touchdown, zip between two defenders, 7-3, and Favre can zip it if he has to, Joe.
Watch him load this gun, Boom. It's back. He's looking for Sterling Holt now. Cut that thing loose, son. There's 6. Look out for your chest, Sterling.
Favre elated as the pack up 7-3. Wayne Fonse's club looking to come back. So what do? Give it to Barry Sanders. Barry darts, and the first guy just so rarely gets a shot at him, and even the second and the third guy don't get a shot. It goes 44 yards before Buckley flags him down. Same drive, 3rd and 8. Kramer's pass tipped, but into the hands of Brett Perriman, who caught 10 on this day to set a Lions postseason record. Then Kramer, Perriman, win it a grab, touchdown, 10-7 Lions. Mike Holmgren's squad knows that the Lions are going up and down the field. Perriman 8 for Racino today. He was Kramer's favorite target. Lions fans fired up. They're 5-0 lifetime at home in the playoffs. Their team leads 10-7 at the half. Third quarter, Edgar Bennett stopped by Mark Spindler and Chris Spielman. Next play, 3rd and 11. Watch out! Melvin Jenkins 2 weeks ago was a Falcon. He's like the Ricky Henderson. You put him to a contending team, he makes the intercept. It's a touchdown, 17-7 Detroit.
Melvin Jenkins does a great job here of reading the quarterback's eyes. Brett Favre looks the receiver down. Sterling Sharpe. Melvin does a good job cutting in front, getting the ball, and getting to the end zone.
Still in the third, down 10. Jackie Harris, the fine tight end, out. So Favre hits a pretty good backup. Go west, young man, as in Ed West. 25 yards in Alliance territory. Favre, you saw that zip before. Here it is again, Joe. The zip to Sterling Sharpe. It's not a replay. It's just another touchdown. Oh, man, what a throw and a catch. 17-14, 4.5 to go in the third quarter for Mike Holmgren's squad. Lions dropping 1st and 10 on their own 20. Kramer to Perriman for 19 yards. Then Kramer to Perriman. The bomb, 31 yards, down to the 13. They're going in, aren't they? No, they're not. They are going in, but it's the Packers. George Ice Teague. He could go all the way. 101 yards. Breaks the postseason record in interception return held by Darrell Ray of the Jets. 98 yards back in 1982.
Kramer just locks up on Ty Halleck. There he is. But look in the back of the end zone. That's Brett Perriman. He's found him all day except on this one. Hit yourself in the head. Bang on it a little bit. Oh, no.
Instead of a 10-point lead, it's the Pack now that finds itself up 21-17 against the Lions. But Kramer goes right to work. Willie Green, color of money, 1st down. 2 plays later, 2nd and 7. Herman Moore takes the licking, keeps on ticking for 20 yards. Barry Sanders, he just can't get him, Tom.
Yeah, he has such great feet, Chris, and the strength of a man. He has that low center of gravity, allows him to run through people.
And here it is again, and he darts outside for the 1st down. You just don't get the full shot at him. Barry today, injury, what injury? 27 rushes, 169 yards. Then 1st and goal at the 5. They don't give it to Barry. They give it to Derek Moore. He also came into the game hurt, but he hurts the Pack. Touchdown, Detroit back on top. What a second half, 24-21. Moore fired up. Mike Holmgren's squad knows they're going to have to come from behind on the road. 3rd and 9 from midfield. Favre buys time. Oh, my goodness, it's Mark Clayton. He's open, but it's out of bounds. I had him. Oh, I had him, Tom.
Mark Clayton from Louisville getting behind the defense. You see him calling for the football. Remember this play because right here, Brett Favre wishes I had just thrown it in the field of play. There's William White who got beat. A little quick prayer.
Under 3 minutes to go, the Packers stopped the Lions, and now the Pack in business. Edgar Bennett on the street, breaking tackles, picks up a first down at 12 yards. Then Favre, go west, young man. He does to Ed West, 9 yards. Chris Jackie looking to tie the game with a field goal in case they need him. 3 plays later, a minute to go, 2nd and 2. Favre scrambles. Wait a minute! How does the guy that set records get this far open? It's Sterling Sharpe. Touchdown! 28-24, the Pack. A minute to go. Joe, what happened?
Chris, I have no idea, except he throws this thing 4 miles. This is a javelin throw, not a pass. Sterling just sort of relaxes, just like he always does. Wayne is not relaxed.
Brett Favre elated. The Pack. Oh, man, when you come to the 4th quarter with Brett Favre, who knows what you're going to get, good or bad, but you get excitement. And the Packers, 3 touchdown passes, Favre to Sharpe, beat the Lions 28-24. They're moving on to Dallas next week, and after the game, Mike Holmgren talked about the winning touchdown.
In our hurry-up offense, Sterling adjusted his route because of the coverage they gave us. And when Brett looked to the left and started moving around, I always get a little nervous when he does that. But then when he launched it, I saw Sterling. I said, I hope he stays in bounds.
Well, he was not really in the route, and I just scrambled around in this situation. Anything can happen, and I knew that he would be running back along the back sideline. Maybe they underestimated my arm. I don't know, but I've never seen anything like it. For the last 2 years, it's been me and him at great combinations, and we always find a way to get the ball in the end zone, and today was no exception. And he's a great player, and in this situation, he's even better.
Wow. I mean, we had 2 great finishes, didn't we? Andrea Kramer doing duty there on the field after the game. And Sterling Sharpe, it's kind of like the game against the Saints. You do those short curls, you forget that the guy can go long. And speaking of curls, isn't Brett Favre like the little girl with the curl? I know that he doesn't deliver every time in the 4th quarter, but of the young quarterbacks, he's the one that's produced more often at crunch time like he did today, Joe.
You talk about a hate-love affair between coach and quarterback. Last week, Mike Holmgren, for 4 interceptions, absolutely had to hate Brett Favre. Today, he throws 3 touchdown passes, but that scrambling around today paid off because he has such a great young arm, because he can throw the ball so far. It turned out being a great thing for Coach Holmgren today.
Yeah, and on the other side of the field, we saw a quarterback who has not made many mistakes make a few. Eric Kramer today threw 2 interceptions. That's as many as he's thrown in a month, and you add up these numbers. They are both interceptions in the end zone. One, a 14-point turnaround by Teague. The other, we can minimally think was going to be a field goal. That's 17 points. That would have won the football game.
Yeah, but not this time. It was Favre and the Pack. Now, Holmgren has beaten Fonts 4 out of 5 times. And in the 7 times now that teams play the week after they play the week before, the result has been different. So if you're a Bronco fan, you like the numbers. But who's one of those, Tom? Brett Favre last week against the Lions, the big numbers, 4 picks, 1 TD. Today, just 1 pick, which was for a touchdown, we might add. But the 3 touchdowns, he is the new young Captain Late. And so we now know what's going on next weekend in the playoffs. The winner of tomorrow's Vikings-Giants game will be at Candlestick against the 49ers. That's a week from today, next Saturday the 15th. Green Bay, as they did 11 years ago, the last time they won a playoff game, then they went to Dallas where their last playoff run ended. Pack at Dallas. That'll bring some memories. That's a week from Sunday. We'll be back. But George Ice Teague, remember he came up big a year ago for Alabama in the Sugar Bowl against Miami? Comes up big with his 101-yard interception return. He gets my game ball. Joe, who's yours?
Fred Jones gets mine. What he did is on the block punt, he had the presence of mind to run with the ball and not fall down on it. Had 1 great run for 9 yards, 2 special team tackles holding Rod Woodson down.
Joe, my game ball is going to go to Keith Cash, the biggest block of his young career today in the 4th quarter to send the ball into a game into overtime. 7 big receptions for 56 yards. Chiefs season high. We'll be back.